Hello. It's Jimash speaks again. This is the fourth in my series of censuses. It's a beautiful day. It's a lovely day. When you think good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. That is my catchphrase. That keeps me going. Right. So what are we talking about today? We are talking about nutrition. You fix your nutrition, you fix your life. You need to poo 4 times in a day if you eat 4 times a day. You need to poo 3 times a day if you eat 3 times a day. And in essence, you need to poo 1 time a day if you eat 1 time a day. We do not have to eat 3 meals a day. And when we do, we are missing out on a whole host of health benefits. Now, one huge meal is what our bodies require. The remaining 2 meals, or 3 meals, or 4 meals are what Big Pharma needs to get you to see the doctors. It's all a well thought out scheme. It's a scam. Okay? Exercise, which is the second pill in our censuses toolbox. My previous podcast was on exercise. Exercise is king. Nutrition is queen. Put them both together and you have got a kingdom. So right here, right in on the screen display is a fork with a nice chunk of beef meat done, and at the bottom you have the various fruits, vegetables, proteins, fish, avocado, and I'm going to dwell on this right through my nutrition series. So here we are. There's that huge red blob, that circle in the middle. And around the circle, we have 9 other smaller circles. We started our series with stress. We've gone through exercise. Now we are at nutrition. Now, I need to mention a few things here, okay? And it's important to ask this question. Why have we let the industry, the people who make the food, tell us what to eat, when to eat, how to eat what we eat, and how often to eat them? I ask myself, whoever told us we need to eat 3 times a day? And it might sound unpleasant to some of you, but this is just me. I mean, do we poo 3 times in a day if we eat 3 times a day? Now, this eating 3 times a day is actually killing us. Literally, we are digging our graves with our forks. That fork I showed on the first screen. Today, like I mentioned earlier on, we're looking at nutrition. I'm introducing the only N in my toolbox kit. And if you ask me, this is one of my favorites. I douse on this pill a lot more than the others. Okay, maybe with the exception of 3. As you can see on the screen, 3 of them are some of the 3 S's: sleep, sunlight, and yes, sex. I douse more on those 3. I take them more than, well, no, I can't say I take them more, but those 3 are also my favorite. I'm going to make a bold statement at this point in time, and I stand to defend my statement. All pharmaceuticals create side effects. How many side effects do you get from vitamins and minerals? I mean, holistic therapeutics create very, very, very few side effects, if any at all. And these will be side effects created if you take them inappropriately. So GMASH Speaks is about creating a platform to share knowledge and information that can help save just one person. That's all I need, just one person, both financially and health-wise. I present facts and I ask you to create your own opinions from these facts. And from the facts presented and from the opinions you have made, to get to a point where you have well-informed conclusions. My truth, my personal truth, does not have to be your truth until it meets or satisfies the desired objective. Now, I would like you to listen very carefully. I'm going to present some figures. These are not my figures, and they are absolute proofs from the leading scientists of the World Health Organization, that's WHO, a body of evidence that we all prescribe to. Now, what WHO says is this. They've stated, and it's a fact, that of all exposed females, around 47% of them can expect miscarriages or a genetically damaged child when you ignore the next statements that I'm about to make. What am I saying? There were series of experiments carried out on girls during the Cold War. It is on record by WHO that children absorb up to 67%, at least 60% more microwaves than adults because their bodies are more moist and their electrical conductivity is greater. So in essence, children can expect 60% more danger from microwaves than adults. And one of the first symptoms for a child who's been subjected to high level of microwave exposure, one of the first symptoms are suicidal tendencies. In 2007, I'm presenting another set of facts. In 2007, suicide was the second leading cause of death for children aged 10 to 14, for teenagers 15 to 19, and for young adults 20 to 24. As if that particular statistics were not frightening enough, the suicide rate among children aged 10 through 14 has nearly tripled from 2007 to 2017. I'm not quite sure about the figures between 2017 and 2020. It's going to be much higher. While the suicide rate among older teenagers has increased by 76% between 2007 and 2017. So GMA Speaks will ask the question. I'm actually asking myself, what has suicide got to do with nutrition? Okay, please hold that microwave thought for a moment, and I will come back to it pretty soon. Okay, you do not have good health because you do not believe you can have good health. That's a general statement. It's not specific to you, but that's a general statement. Now, my favorite book states, you have not because you ask not. And when you ask, you have not because you do not believe in that which you've even asked for. And when you believe, you do not receive because you ask for the wrong reasons. My favorite book says to me, it says, George, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in good health, just as your soul prospers. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. For the food you eat can be safest, or it could be the safest form of medicine, or the slowest form of poison. So we're digging into our 9 tools. We're digging into our toolbox kit, and the 9 of them. At this present point in time, we are creating new conversations. And I would like you to be part of these conversations, because when you think good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. So essentially, capturing and having a full toolbox kit of 9 tools to use will create success. And that success gives us optimal 5-star health and wealth. Now, that is my objective. That is my purpose, to present optimal 5-star health and wealth to any one person who chooses to embrace this toolbox kit. It is my prescription, it is personal to me, and I'm sharing with you guys what I have personally experienced. So hold on, stick with me, let's ride this journey together, and let's see where this journey would get us to. So here we are with the next tool in the toolbox kit. It is the nutrition tool. My biological age today, which is 3 years into recovering from my chronic illness, is at least 15 years younger. And that is a differential between my biological age and my chronological age. There are many reasons for this, and I will share them with us. One of the reasons, and this is quite key, one reason why I have reversed my biological age is that I feast on and I have a raw food meal which has at least 40 live nutrients every day. I mean, every day. Yes, I do eat cooked food, processed food, and I eat just about anything because I have been socialized to eat what we call good food. However, I'm aware that what I eat as a big, huge meal literally has no nutrients in it, most especially if the variable ingredients and products used to making the meals were bought from commercial stores. I wait for the time when we have our tribesmen producing our own grass-fed animal proteins and non-GMO meat, fish, and non-fertilized and non-pesticide and herbicide fresh vegetables. Oh, that will be the day. Then when we get to that point, essentially we will have cut off the monopoly of Monsanto, of Roundup, glyphosate, DDTs. We essentially will have cut off the monopoly of Bayer. Bayer happens to be one of the world's top big farmers of pharmaceutical, and they're also into farming anyway. They bought over Monsanto so they can dominate the food industry. But before I dive into the third pill, before I go any further into the third pill of my Synthesis toolkit, now during my launch on the 15th of February in Burj Khalifa, I did mention a few things. I would like you to please listen to the podcast on my website. My website is www.gmashspeaks.com, or you can also check www.georgemashigo.com, or you could check my YouTube channel, which is also George Mashigo. During my launch on the 15th of February, I did mention that I would like for each of us to have 3 things on our minds whenever we listen to any of my GMASH Speaks series. And these 3 things that I would like for us to always consider are the following. And we need to apply this to this tool out of the toolbox kit, nutrition. It's, what do we know now about nutrition? What do we need to know about nutrition? What can we do with what we now know about nutrition? So I'm going to feed us a different perspective on what I know about nutrition based on my experience when I recovered from a chronic illness. So let's get into synthesis. Let's step into the only N in my toolbox kit: nutrition. The first wealth anybody can have is health. That health is nutrition. I'm going to share a few things that some of us might be privy to know, or a lot of us might not, but I'm not going to delve into it deeply in this particular introduction of nutrition. I'm just going to skim through it. Now, nutrition, we will have to put this behind our minds that the moment the light bulb was discovered in 1882, at that point, we cut off the major source of nutrition, or one of the major sources of nutrition, into our bodies. I mean, you're going to ask me, what is that? Okay, it's wood ash. Our ancestors, predecessors, cooked with wood. And in doing that, they took in close to 100% unadulterated minerals. They took in nutrition into their bodies every time they cooked. Ash from wood was used to cook. Ash or wood was actually used to make light. Well, not electricity, but light for people to see. And that particular ash is literally 99.99% minerals. And what they were doing at that point in time, before we got exposed or before we founded electricity, was that people were putting them in their food. However, all that went away when the first light bulb was put on. Today in this instance being the 6th of March 2020, if we are lucky, 10%, if we are lucky, we have 10% minerals or nutrition into our bodies. And that's if we choose to consume the so-called organic meals that we eat. I'm not even considering the Monsanto glyphosate nonsense that we consume daily through the GMOs all over our shop shelves. I'm referring to the so-called organic produce we buy from shops. I'm going to delve and dig deeper into this. I'm going to create some articles that I'll be releasing in the next few series on nutrition, so look out for that. Now, what is a nutrient? A nutrient is called essential if you need it, but your body cannot make it. We are a generation of people living and walking around with malnutrition. Our bodies are not fed with proper nutrition any longer. Whatever happened to raw food, whatever happened to unprocessed meals, whatever happened to those rich, nutrition-filled, old-school style meals our grandmothers used to make? Well, currently we have our modern-day intelligence, and that has given us choices that have created in themselves bags of bodies riddled with chemicals. We are so sick today because our bodies need at least 50 nutrients daily. Now I'm saying at least. On average, you need about 100 nutrients daily. We will be lucky if the best soil, the best farming techniques and processes give us 10 of these nutrients daily. We'll be lucky. Whatever happened to unprocessed, whole, plant-based and organic foods? What happened to raw foods containing uncooked vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, beans, and juices? Guys, what happened? And before you go off, because I'm rambling about fruits, nuts, seeds, beans, and juices, I am not a vegan. I am not vegetarian. I love my beef. However, I'm finding it increasingly difficult to find grass-fed beef. And when I say grass-fed beef, I don't mean Monsanto grass or feed. No, not that. I might as well just drink the herbicide and pesticides directly if I were to go eat Monsanto fed, grass-fed beef. When nutrition is wrong, medicine is of no use. When nutrition is right, medicine is of no need. So this begs the question, what causes inflammation? What causes malnutrition? I'd like us to think about that. Put that behind our minds. Let us think, is inflammation and malnutrition, or is it the consistent consumption of food that lacks nutrition, or is it the inability of our bodies to have all the raw materials that it needs in order to function the way that nature and God intended our bodies to function? Is this what has caused inflammation and malnutrition? Now get this right. We all need to get well nutrified. And when we do that, we will have our health right. So we eat well, or so we think. We eat out at good restaurants, we feed on vegetables, and we go on the so-called healthy diets. We buy the so-called organic food from our A-class shops. Yet, having done all that, we still do not get the right nutrition that our bodies need. Optimum nutrition is the medicine of tomorrow. Now, this leads me and takes us into the last part of this talk. Today, we are bodies clothed in the most expensive and pleasant outfits. Our bodies are depleted through environmental factors, through poor diet, through messed up gut microbiomes. Amongst other personally used methods, I made use to reverse my chronic illness. I will share with us how we can use a simple process. This is one of the things I used to reverse my illness. I will share with us how we can use remote diffusion in order to get our bodies heavily nutrified. What I prescribe to personally is that you first need to nutrify your bodies, okay? And then by doing that, you've built up your body, and then you can go ahead to eliminate toxins from the body. You can go ahead to detoxify. I've seen people do it the other way around. We first try to detoxify before we nutrify. It's a bit like taking a chihuahua, a dog, to the hunt for a rabbit. You're going to come back empty-handed. So we need to know which type of medicine, what sort of pill to use in order to get optimal health, so that we can achieve the desired results. Otherwise, you take the wrong dog to the hunt. Now, please allow me into your homes, into the room that is one of the most favorite in a woman's home. Let us take a 3-minute dive into your kitchen. Let us say nutrition is what we make in our kitchens. We make the food, processed food. Nutrition is what we believe we are putting together to give our loved ones the best chance of a healthy body. That's correct, isn't it? Remember what I mentioned earlier on about microwaves and what the WHO said about exposed females, where around 47% of them can expect miscarriages or having a child that is genetically damaged. I mentioned there that it's on record by WHO that children absorb at least up to 60% more microwaves than adults. because their bodies are more moist and their electrical conductivity is greater. Well, check this out. It's always been recommended, even by people who make microwave ovens, that you should never ever cook baby food or children's food in microwave ovens. It is on record. It is a fact by WHO. Now, what is the reason given? The reason given is that food is made from living things. It's supposed to be made from living things, be they plants or animals, and the living tissues still have the protein structures that can be affected by microwaves. Essentially, if you put food, living organism, living tissues into a microwave to warm your food or to cook your food, you affect the protein structures that they become. And they become what are known as prions or rogue proteins. And that could start to affect the body when the body grows. When you keep on doing this, when you digest these rogue proteins as a result of cooking food or warming food in the microwave ovens. It may be a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year period. It is a process that we become subject to. And I dare say we have diseases, neurological diseases such as Alzheimer's disease, which in itself is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that occurs when nerve cells in the brain die. That disease, Alzheimer's disease, is a double prion disorder. Remember I said when we warm food, the protein structures in the food becomes prions or rogue proteins. Well, Alzheimer's disease is a double prion disorder. Nobody really knows, but if you change the protein structures of what you are eating, that will have a knock-on effect in the body. And this is why they say never microwave baby food or children's food. Now, if you're 25 years of age and you want to do a quick potato or something in your microwave, there shouldn't be any difference in the results as with children, right? Yes, you're right. There is no difference in the results. So we microwave food and kill off whatever nutrients are left in our food. And then the other problem with microwave ovens, and here is where your take on this stat. Okay, what is your take on risks, and what is your take on your chances when you have a microwave which you use at home? Now, if you have one, and I believe almost all homes have one microwave oven, the other problem is that we never tend to test our microwaves to see if it is leaking, because there is what we call a microwave leak. Once you bang the door with the plates inside, or you slam your door, or you close it, all you really do not want is there being a tiny leak, a tiny little leak in the glass or on the seal around the door. Now, why is this a problem? I'll tell you why it's a problem. Now, this is the thing. You've got a very powerful microwave beam coming out, and they're usually at, guess what? They're usually at eye level when we warm our food. We tend to stand and stare into the microwaves at eye level to see what's happening inside the microwave, to see whether our food is warming properly. We open the door, we feel, we shut the door. It's all happening at eye level. Well, it turns out that microwaves are renowned for causing cataracts and blindness in the eyes. because, guys, the eyes are really full of water and they're full of moisture, and microwaves react with water and moisture. So if you're staring into the microwave and they're leaking, then, guys, we are in big trouble. I'm going to share with us in one of my series how to test your microwave. So hook into the GMASH Speak series, the 5-minute series that I'm going to be sharing. These ones take pretty much time, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So I'm going to talk about how you can test your microwave and how you can avoid destroying the food you put in your microwave oven. Now, workouts and exercise are easy. The real challenges that we face is actually what we face in the kitchen. So can we see how we are literally destroying ourselves, killing off whatever nutrients are left in our food by putting our food into microwaves? And then talking about that, remember what I said about proteins becoming prions or rogue proteins and how they could affect, or they could start to affect the body? Do we know that once a person has developed a prion disease, the central nervous system tissues, that is your brain, your spinal cord, and your eye tissues, are thought to be extremely infectious? And there goes my double whammy on microwaves. The eye tissue degeneration and cataracts and blindness that we experience in the eyes are due to looking into a leaky microwave. Have you ever wondered why you feel eye pains or strains, maybe slight headaches, or slight headaches more these days? Well, there is part that in that question, I have an answer. Part of the answers in why we're feeling eye pains, strains more these days is because we're not allowing sunlight into our eyes. And that's sunlight is one of my S's. If you look on the screen, it's the S after epigenetics and eugenics. I'm going to be covering that particular subject as a peer. Guys, we really have interesting times ahead of us with my series of speaks. You are bound to live a healthier life once you start putting into use the 9 pills that we are socializing ourselves as members of a tribe. Once you put them into use. And before I sign off on nutrients, there is now no single day that passes, and I mention this because it's a personal experience of mine, where I do not take at least 40 nutrients, and I take them in their raw form to boost my immunity against external attack. Remember, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. We are meant to live out that old or that popular African proverb that states, if there is no enemy within, the enemy without can do us no harm. Raw food, proper nutrients, deliberate supplementation will do one thing. They will boost our antibodies. They will pump up our immune system. They will improve our lymphatic system and cardiovascular systems. They will improve their functions. They will destroy free radicals, stave off viruses. Popular virus nowadays is the coronavirus. If we do all these things, if we nutrify properly, we can stave off coronavirus and the soon to be released more deadly viruses. They will do us no harm once we are properly nutrified. It is time to return back to the way we used to eat before the giant food industry ruined food. And we can only do that with a new mindset, with a new tribe. So at this point in time, I've taken us through the third in my series of toolbox kits, in my tools that we can use to change our narrative, nutrition. We will, through nutrition, live optimal health. So I'm going to be sharing a series of 5-minute podcasts on nutrition information that I've learned from others, information that I have personally used in my life to reverse my own chronic illnesses. This nutrition series will create a discourse in our minds about how we can optimize our lives, how we can change the narratives in our lives by using just nutrition, using these pills daily, so that we ensure that we manipulate and use the knowledge we share to create and rewire our minds in order for our minds to become the general and our bodies becoming the soldiers. Remember, when you think good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. The hardest part is not exercise or nutrition. The hardest part is our minds. Let us build wellness rather than treating disease. I have introduced nutrition to us. That is what I've taken the last 35 or so minutes to introduce to us. And this puts to an end the summary of nutrition. Now, we are going to present the next tool in the toolbox, which is sleep. And I dare say to us all, I'm going to give you some shocking information that will let you know that sleep in itself, the effect of sleep in itself could be more effective than our food, than our diet and exercise combined. So next up is sleep. Thank you very much for your time. Please check my website www.gmashspeaks.com and my YouTube channel George Mashiko for the podcast on sleep. You can also check my website www.georgemashiko.com. God bless you. Thank you for your time. Keep it tight and look out for my next podcast on sleep. God bless.